Hello everyone and welcome to today's webinar. This is Joe Leininger with Real Pro Systems and I'm here with Dennis Greenfield, who is our SEO coordinator here at Real Pro. Today's session is going to be on driving organic traffic to your website. Dennis and I are going to talk about best strategies that we currently have in play for our SEO clients and what you can do to drive more traffic to your website to climb the search engines. During today's call, you will be muted, but we'll try to get to as many of your questions during the session. If you want to submit your questions in the right-hand side GoToMeeting toolbar. If you submit your questions, Tara Sybrant, who is our marketing director and resident SEO enthusiast, she'll try to get to as many of your questions as she can. We'll also try to save some time at the end of today's session to get to some of your questions then as well. So this is a pretty densely packed webinar. We are doing a lot to provide a lot of information, and we will be going pretty quickly. But if you have any questions that we can't get to during the session, we'll also try to make ourselves available by email at the end there. So more on that to come. But again, welcome everyone for attending today's webinar. My name is Joe Leininger, and I'm one of the co-founders of Real Pro Systems, and I'm the Director of Professional Services here. We're joined by Dennis Greenfield. Dennis, thanks for coming on today.
Thank you.
Dennis is the SEO coordinator here at Real Pro Systems. He has over 13 years of SEO experience, and I met Dennis 2005 at a Search Engine Strategies conference in San Jose. Dennis's experiences with search engine optimization and search engine marketing far-reaching, going back to when there was, even before there were black hat tactics. He was one of the innovators in our area. Met him when we was with Traffic Leader, and some of his past clients have included Universal Studios, Best Buys, Zappos, and many, many others. So we're really excited to have Dennis as part of our team and to be leading up the SEO initiative. And I think we're going to learn a whole lot today, Dennis. And let's get started right off the bat and talking about just the demand for SEO and getting seen on today's search engines. As we all know, 89% of folks today are doing their online home search online. they're using online resources to get their home search done.
Yeah, definitely. And 89% of those people who are doing their search for their homes on the internet, that's the audience that we're obviously trying to grab today. So we're going to give you, like Joe said, sort of an overview of the strategy that we take. Now, we obviously can't go in depth of every single SEO strategy. We could spend days and days and days on that. But just from a high-level view of the best practices and the exact approach that we take is what we're offering up today for you. So like Joe said, you know, the 89% during their search for looking for a home, they look on the internet for their homes, and that's a huge number.
So just getting seen today online, you know, the typical strategy that we notice here with agents is that they typically take a three-prong approach. They use temporal marketing, they'll use some paid placement or pay-per-click, and then there's search engine optimization. Just so we can kind of get a perspective and so that our audience can see what they're doing, Dennis, walk us through these. First of all, temporal marketing.
Yeah, temporal marketing is definitely one of the strategies that we see, and it's just that. It's marketing that's temporary, and things like these home flyers and your business cards, Craigslist, all of these items are temporal marketing, and I'm sure all of you have used these strategies, and they work really, really well. But again, they're just temporary. So you know, once you have to really rely on timing and things like that when it comes to temporal marketing.
Once the flyer is out of the box, kind of your marketing's finished and say replenish those flyers.
Absolutely.
Another strategy is paid placement, and paid placement is a great strategy using for stealth marketing, for instance.
Yeah, paid placement, also known as pay-per-click or PPC, works great, like you said, with stealth marketing or just other areas of the site that are hard to optimize for. If you look on the screen here, we've outlined where your paid placement typically shows up. Typically right at the top of the engine there, the results page, and also over on the right-hand side, that right-hand side gutter. Those are all paid placement. And you know, you have to rely on an auction style, so you're bidding on the keywords. You also rely on how popular your ad is, and those two factors there determine where you're going to rank in this paid placement. Now, paid placement takes up 15% of the traffic, comes through paid placement. Now, let's just think about that for 1 minute. Google they've got a lot of money in their pockets, and most of their money comes from paid placement. So if only 15% of the traffic is driving Google that much money, just think of how much other traffic out there is. And that's what we're really here to talk about today, is the organic traffic that we'll achieve through search engine optimization. So on the screen here, you can see we've got these organic listings outlined, and this is where we're trying to really achieve some of the higher ranks here are in these organic results. So as we mentioned, organic results take up 85% of the search traffic. So we want to really capture this total amount of traffic here as we can.
So this seems to be like as far as where all the eyes are going and they're doing their searches on Google, this seems to be where there's just a lot of leverage. Now when you take a look at how agents are advertising their sites and how they're marketing and the efforts that they're putting in, this is a very common mix. When you look at this matrix, they're doing some direct advertising, they're doing some pay-per-click advertising, but as far as the energy that they're putting into their SEO, they might fill out their bio page or something, but that's about it. But as we're going to see here, as you put out direct advertising or that temporal marketing and you're putting your domain on your flyers and on your business cards and on your postcards, you will bring traffic back to your website. It's the more that you work that, the more traffic that you'll bring back. And the same thing is true for pay-per-click. As you're out there and you are advertising your website using a pay-per-click program, the traffic that you're going to get back to your website is really related to the amount of a budget that you're putting in there. And what Dennis had pointed out earlier is once that budget is finished, or once your marketing materials are done, the traffic kind of dries up. So we're representing this as a one-to-one correlation. As long as you're doing that effort, you are going to see a return on that. But then SEO, if you're putting a little bit of an effort in there, you're only going to get a little bit of a return on that. And that's unfortunate. So what we're going to talk about today, though, is if you did put in a reasonable effort on SEO, that you do have a way to actually leverage those search engines and have a way higher return.
Yeah, the real positive about SEO is once your pages are indexed, they're in that index for good. You just want to continually adding content, adding new pages, keeping your website fresh, keeping that search engine coming back time and time again to your website to grab new pages and index them. The search engines love to see a website stay fresh. They love to see that website grow because that creates a better user experience for the search engine's audience.
So the choice for SEO is obvious. Optimizing your website provides just tremendous leverage. People are visiting, 85% of that search is going through the search engine, so it's important to be seen. And you'll have an amazing long-term result on your investment as long as you just do it. So the question is, how do you do it? How do we get started with SEO? Well, we've broken it down to the three major components that we're going to talk about today as your website architecture, content creation, and link building. And these are considered to be, in the industry, the three important factors that you need to pay attention to when building out your website. So let's get started, first of all, Dennis, with website architecture. And for the benefit of everyone on this call, you're all RealPro Systems users, our websites were designed with architecture in mind. So just bear in mind as we're going through this conversation, there's not a lot that you're going to have to do with your architecture because as we created it from the ground up, we actually did consult with SEO firms to come in and point us out or tell us exactly what we were supposed to do to make sure that this was going to be optimized correctly. But we're going to share with you a little bit of what goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah, so just briefly, here's a shot of one of our agent sites, and we did design the architecture to not have any of these roadblocks that would stop the search engines from being able to crawl and index the site completely. So you can see on the screen here, just real quickly, there's a lot of code that goes into these websites, and the code needs to be formatted properly. But again, our system does this for you, and I just highlighted out here a few meta tags. And these meta tags here are, keywords and description tags. Here we've got some header tags, which are H1 or H2 tags. And you can see, again, the code here. There's a lot of information there. Now here's where your header tags will show up on the visible side of the screen. Now header tags are important for your users, and they're also important for the search engine spiders, because once the search engine spider sees that header tag, it realizes that, okay, information is in a header tag, it must be fairly important. So they recognize that. Another aspect of the architecture is the sitemap. Now, your sitemap is, again, really useful for your users. Of course, they can go to your sitemap and search through different pages as they need to. But once a search engine spider comes to your page, they look for your sitemap. That's one of the first things that they'll look for, because they know that, well, one, if you're a legit site, you probably have a sitemap built, but also the search engine spider can go to that sitemap and adequately index all of these pages in just a quick amount of time.
And so every agent has a sitemap or every website has a sitemap on the bottom of the page. And when you click on it, all of the pages that are on your website that are public facing are presented there for the search engines to go in, easily index, and slurp up, right?
Yeah, just another one of those things that you don't have to worry about as an agent. As you add content, as you add pages, they get automatically added to your sitemap for you.
Okay, so in a nutshell, all of the things that are important as part of your website architecture, RealPro Systems does. Now, that's not to say that you couldn't go in and make any adjustments to the settings that we provide. What we have implemented is kind of a best practices suite, but there are advanced controls so that if you have a particular strategy that you wanted to employ in your SEO, you can override our settings in favor of your own. It came up in a staff meeting the other day, though, that one of our client care representatives was talking to an agent, and the agent had put in what did she say, like 15 different cities as part of her keyword strategy, and trying to be seen for every topic or every keyword phrase that was under the sun. We suggest that when you're creating a page, and we're going to get into this in a little bit, but as you're creating a page and as you're creating content and links, we really want to be specific. And we're going to talk about the long tail and how do you actually get seen. The goal is not to stuff your tags and do everything that you can to think of all of those terms and how to get seen for those. It's to pick a few and to do them well.
That's right.
So all of this is done for you. Again, there are settings for the advanced user if you want to go in and override what we've created, but you're off to a tremendous start. So if you didn't even touch those and you just followed best practices, you're going to be okay. Let's talk, Dennis, about the second part of the strategy, which is content creation. Of course, content is king in everything that we're going to be talking about today. How do you provide relevant content?
Well, providing relevant content, if you think about it, it's pretty obvious here. We want to keep our content real estate related. Again, we have to tell the search engines what it is that our website is about, but also what each individual page is about. Keep it hyper local. You don't need to advertise that you're selling real estate in Oregon, for example. You want to advertise that you're selling real estate in Eugene, Oregon, or Portland, Oregon. Keep it hyper local. Real estate related and hyper local ties in nicely with a long tail search. Now, what a long tail search phrase is, it's typically a search phrase that's made up of 3 or 4, 5, 6, just a number of words out there that creates a search phrase. So rather than saying real estate, which is just sort of what we call a head term, a long tail search phrase is Highland Park, California real estate. You can see from the graph here on the screen towards the bottom, I've got a long tail search phrase for you. The thing about the long tail search is they provide an opportunity for you to be hyper specific and hyper local. They also provide the opportunity for you to create so many more pages out there based on each individual long page search. A good thing about that is the more pages you've got created, the more pages you can get indexed and the more chances you can be found. So if you look on this graph here, look to the left there where it says real estate. Now the number of search queries for that term is pretty high, but you know what else is pretty high? The number of people out there trying to compete for that type of phrase. There's a ton of pages out there that could be optimized for the term real estate. So if you work your way down the graph there, you can see how Los Angeles real estate, it's not quite as much of a head term, but it's still not quite a long tail search. And then you go all the way down to where we have our Highland Park, California real estate. You can bet when somebody types in Highland Park, California real estate, they've done some research already. They know the area that they're looking for because, well, they typed it in specifically, and they're probably further along in the buying process than somebody who just types in real estate. So another thing to really think about too is if you were to optimize for a search phrase like real estate, not only would you have so much more competition out there, but if you were to drive, let's say, 1,000 visits to your website, maybe you're going to get one lead off that. Now go down to Highland Park, California real estate for a minute. If you were to drive 500, okay, it's not quite as much traffic, but the leads on there are probably going to be triple or quadruple. So even though it's not as much traffic, the conversion, the lead conversion is much greater for long tail search.
You know, Dennis, we tend to get some questions about long tail search and, you know, how do you integrate that in with your own SEO strategy. One of the things that ways that we like to think of it is if you look on the left-hand side of this graph for real estate, and Dennis, you had mentioned this, but if you do a search on Google for the term real estate, there's millions and billions of pages out there that are available for real estate. But if you try to do a search for Highland Park, California real estate, there's going to be significantly fewer pages out there that are unique enough to address that topic. The more of those pages that you have on your website, the more times that you're going to be indexed as, in light of the competition, you can really own those markets for those terms that are out there on the long part of the tail. That's what we call it, the long tail search, is it's on the long part of the tail. And if you look at this graph, you know 70% of the searches done today are actually in the long tail. So people, when they're searching for real estate in Southern California and they're in the Los Angeles area, even though there's a billion pages out there for Los Angeles real estate, they're not typically starting their search with something that's that broad. They're going to start with Highland Park if that's the community that they're interested in, or maybe Yorba Linda or Brea or Long Beach or something like that. And so the competition for those particular areas is much less, and because of that you have a real opportunity of getting up there for these search terms. So when we're talking about building content, think of your long tail search terms in your community and owning those terms. And so let's take a walk through what we've done for our agents that we're working with. We're creating community pages. We're also creating specialty pages, or what we call these niche pages, and blog updates. And by having a good strategy for putting content on your website, kind of gives us a roadmap for building out this content, but with real purpose. And so we're going to start off today by talking about the community pages. These are community pages that our SEO program has built for agents, and we're going to show you what we do. So if you want to build your own community pages, you can. We'll also tell you how to access our services if that's something that you're interested in. But again, we're just talking about the best practices here, and we're going to share with you a way to get success in your own local market. So let's start off with community pages. Dennis, walk us through this.
Okay, so the community pages are designed to provide helpful content about your local area. We want to create a unique page for each area you serve, and we want to link to this content from other pages within your website, and also other pages from outside of your website. Now, the community pages, they are helpful for your users, but they're also really helpful for the search engines. They just sort of provide more content and more information for the search engines, telling them exactly what it is, where it is, what area that you service. So it helps you become an authority for a certain area. So if we look here at Rob Levy's page, what we've got, let's go back one slide here. Just to look here on Rob's page, you can see he's got a Google map on this. Now what we do is we go through and we highlight the areas that you service. So when a user comes to this page, they'll mouse over an area and it'll highlight up, and then they'll be able to click on it and go straight to the area. This Google Maps are becoming more and more important, because as Google starts to recognize, yes, you have a Google map, and they recognize the area, again, it's just another search cue for that search engine to say, I know what this area is about. I know what this search page is about. And then towards the bottom there, we've got a few of the community page links listed. So now we'll go on to, this is an actual community page here. And these community pages, you can speak about different things: living, architecture, schools, the list goes on. The idea is just to provide relevant content for each specific area. This particular page here is for Northwest Portland real estate. And you can see here we're talking about shopping and dining. Shopping and dining specific to Northwest Portland, Oregon. We go down here and we've got some parks and recreation information. And again, it's all specific to Northwest Portland, Oregon. Here we've got an image. Now this is an image of Powell's Books, which is a real popular bookstore in Northwest Portland. So we might add an alt tag here that tells the search engines this particular image is Powell's Books from Northwest Portland, Oregon. And it's just another search cube for that engine. And you can add any type of multimedia, images, video, podcasts, things like this not only help keep your users engaged, but it also is another cue for that search engine to know that you're a legit site and just helps provide more authority. Right below the image here, we've got some pre-formatted search links. Now, this is just a call to action here because we want the user to get to this page, but we want them to take a further step. Once they've read some information about their area, we want them to possibly check out some listings. And here the listings are broken up by Northwest Portland from different price ranges. And so it's just a call to action. And as you know, once the user gets a few of these, few steps into your site there, they're going to be asked for some information. So it's a lead capture for you.
So yeah, let's take a look here at Sam. Now we've done it again for Sam Miller as an agent in Knox County, Ohio. The site that we're looking at here is a site that Sam brought online just a couple of months ago, and he's been working really hard to put content on it. In fact, the style is a little unique. He had our professional services team create this just for him, and he wanted a community section. So we built out this community section, and the map looks a little bit different, but it works the same, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's exactly the same. It tells the search engine, especially Google, because this is a Google map, it tells them, listen, I know that Sam's website is about Knox County, Ohio. So again, just another search cue there. And then you can see Sam has his community pages listed right underneath. So that's a great example here for Sam's one of Sam's community pages. Now here's the one of his actual community pages itself. And again, Sam provides great information and content for his users and for the search engine. And that's very, very important. Now, in just a short time, Sam, his community page there for Apple Valley, Ohio, has actually been able to come on and rank number 2 in the search engines there. So you can see that he's achieving some really good success in a short amount of time. Here is an example of a niche page. Now, a niche page.
So just for the benefit of our audience. So what we've just talked about are pages that you can create that are revolving around your community. And the examples that we shared with Sam and Rob, these are examples that you can go in and you create those in your control panel if you want, and you just create custom pages and you're building them around your community. Now we're going to shift gears a little bit, and we're going to talk about a different kind of page, and these are the niche pages. These are the pages that are designed not necessarily around your community, but around your specialty or your niche areas. So.
Right. And so some good examples of niche pages may be for condos, if you specialize in condos, waterfront property, commercial, acreage. Again, the list can go on and on and on. Now, this particular niche page here is for Mike Parker. Now, he's created this page, Northern Kentucky, that's his area. Waterfront properties is what he wants to really put out there in front of his clients. So what Mike has done is he's created a page, and he's using the tag-based listing services here, which you can do right through your control panel. It just takes a few minutes. We actually have a webinar on this. If you want 15 minutes, you could learn how to do this yourself. These tag-based listings are being pulled in automatically as they're added, and they're also going away automatically as Mike takes them out of the system. So towards the top there, you can see Mike has waterfront properties, and then he has some content there that discusses his waterfront properties. Now, one thing that Mike could have done a little better is instead of just saying waterfront properties, he could have said Northern Kentucky waterfront properties. But being that he has enough search cues on his website and this web page, the search engine was able to pick up Northern Kentucky and waterfront properties. Now, here's a Google result for Mike's waterfront property page. You can see the search there is Northern Kentucky waterfront properties, and the top 3 there are pay per click. So he's got a #1 organic rank right there for his Northern Kentucky waterfront properties. So great job to Mike.
Now, one thing that we'll also just point out, if you go to the next slide here. So we're actually taking a look at another one of these pages. If you're asking yourself, well, how do you create a page like this? In your control panel, you have the ability to create, add your listings to your website, and you also have the ability to work with tag-based listings. And so if you had a particular niche that you were working on and you tagged those listings with terms like waterfront or acreage, like Mike does, you can actually pull all of those listings together onto a single page. And we give you the controls to add some unique custom content or some text up at the top to make that a very dynamic SEO-friendly page. So if you want to learn how to do this, join us every month. We actually have a training class on how do you create these tag-based listings pages. And although we've already done it for December, we've got classes coming up in January, so watch out for that newsletter. But walk us through. This is another example of one that Mike's done for property with acreage.
Yeah, same exact thing. Again, he could have put Northern Kentucky property with acreage there. You see the header up in red there, but he is pulling in his tag-based listings for his acreage properties, and he's ranking really well for this as well. Again, a #1 ranking right there for Northern Kentucky property with acreage. Now, niche pages, they're just another way to add content to show that you're the professional for your area, for maybe your niches that you want to have stand out. They're also really good for what I like to call content or topic pages. So, maybe you want to talk about foreclosures in your area. Well, go ahead and write a custom page discussing foreclosures and how does that relate to you in your area. It's just another page out there for you that has a chance to be indexed.
So we've talked about these niche pages. We've talked about, let's walk through. We've talked about the community areas. We've also talked about putting content up for your niche, your specialty areas. A third way to update your website is with the blog. And this is such an important such an important part of the strategy, because even though you've created content for your communities and your specialty areas, we want to always work to keep things in front of the search engines. And a blog, the very nature of it is it's time-based. So the most recent post is the one that gets shown up at the top. The more that you post and the more that you can link to those other pages, the more that you stay in front of the search engines. So let's take a look at a blog post and the anatomy and break this down for us.
Yeah, blogs are really important because the search engines, they'll recognize that they're blogs, and blogs are designed to be updated frequently. So if you have a blog that's active, the search engine recognizes that, and it'll come back and visit your site and your blog more frequently than if you didn't have a blog and if you didn't update your site. Now, blog posts are great for market updates, niche promotions, special causes, current events. Again, the list can go on and on and on. This example here is from Sam Miller. Now, Sam is writing about Mount Vernon, Ohio real estate. And what Sam has done here is in his blog post, he has a hyperlink. I've got it circled there. His hyperlink is pointing back to his Mount Vernon, Ohio real estate tag-based listing page. So it's really important to always promote another page in your site when you're on your blog. It's quick and it's easy. It gives the user and the search engine another path to find those pages. So here, just to show you here, this is the blog post we were just talking about, and here's Sam's tag-based listing page that he's pointing to. So again, it's another path for those search engines. Sam's only had this particular site here up for a couple of months, but he's already on page 2 in the search results, which is not bad. And as Sam keeps going and keeps working on his site, this page here, I'm sure, will climb the ranks, and soon it'll be a #1 page rank.
So Dennis, let's talk about another example that we've got from Sam. Here's one on bank-owned homes. Sam is really big on bank-owned homes, and he wants to promote that and own that term. So he put a blog post about it because he is also promoting his bank-owned stealth site. And by posting on his blog and linking to that style site, he also included a couple of other links. One is in his address bar, and it goes to his this bank-owned page. And if you click on that link, it actually pulls up what we call that niche page, that specialty page for Knox County, Ohio bank-owned properties. And so the homes that he has listed that are bank-owned, are featured there on that page. The great thing about it is because he's listed it in his blog, he's also put it in his menu, and he's created a custom page for it. When you search for that keyword term that's important to Sam, Knox County, Ohio bank-owned, look where he's showing up in Google. He's showing up at the top, he's showing up as number 2, and he's showing up as number 3. Talk about market domination. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's a really good result. And the first result there is the actual blog post itself. The second result there is his custom page, the bank-owned niche page that he created. And because he's tied it in all together, he was actually able to get his blog, the index of his blog, ranked as a number 3 there. So yeah, really, really good success here.
Yeah, and that just kind of brings up another question where agents will sometimes ask, should I blog on my website or should I go find another blog? And this is just an example of how an integrated blog can work in your favor, giving your domain that extra credit because you've got the content right there on the site, and it does show up. Another thing that we should just point out here is take a look that this is the benefit of SEO. Sam has got these top 3 ranks, but if you took a look on the right-hand side of that Google search, these are all people who are paying for that placement. Sam's not paying for it.
That's right, and these pages are indexed in the engine for Sam, and you know what? The pages over here that are pay-per-click, once their budget runs out, they're out of the index, they're out of the engine, but Sam's pages are still going to be there.
So we've talked about the importance of building out your community pages and filling out the rest of your strategy with niche pages and blog updates. The more content that you have on your website, the better. But content's not the only part. We've talked about the architecture and content just then, but also let's talk about link building because this is the third area of good SEO that's really going to drive results to your page. We've walked through Sam, so let's kind of stay with Sam in his example. He's created his community pages and his niche pages and his blog updates, but one of the things that we've talked about, but we want to focus in on here, is that he's also linking from one page to another. So as he's writing his community page post, he's linking to his niche page, or if he's updating his blog update, or he's updating his blog post, he's also linking to the niche page. And this is so important that as you're creating content that you are linking within your website to let those search engines know which pages on your site are the most important. So let's break down what goes into a good linking strategy. Here's a snapshot from Rob Levy's site. What are we seeing, Dennis?
Well, you can see that Rob here, this is a community page, Portland, Oregon Real Estate. Rob has several links on this page. Now, some of these links are pointing away from his website. But the important links here are the 2 links that I have highlighted. One is Southeast Portland and the other is Northeast Portland. Now, these are pointing to additional community pages within Rob's site. And what he's doing is he's not only telling the users and the search engines, hey, I've got more pages here, but in the hyperlink text, he's actually telling the users and the search engines what the page name is, what the page is about. So you can see here the search engine will find this link, Southeast Portland. And once the search engine visits that page, it'll determine, yep, this page over here is about Southeast Portland. So it all ties together nicely.
So let's talk a little bit about when you're creating links, how should you format your link? We don't want to say click here, do we?
Right. This is another example. This is a blog post here. And again, we've seen this blog example here a few slides back, Mount Vernon, Ohio Real Estate. And what Sam has done, as you can see, we've circled it there. He actually has a link, and he's titled that link in the hyperlink text, Mount Vernon, Ohio Homes for Sale. So he's telling the search engines and his users exactly what the page they're about to visit is about.
Yeah, so when Google actually goes to that page, Sam is saying, I want you to know that this page is about Mount Vernon, Ohio Homes for Sale. It's not about click here.
Yeah, this is an example now on the screen of what not to do. So if I were going to a search engine and in the search box I typed in click here, excuse me, I may be able to find this page. If I went to that search engine and typed in foreclosures and short sales on Smith Lake, I'm probably not going to find this page. So avoid click here at all costs.
Yeah. So the next area of linking and getting your site out there, using links to get your site promoted, is what we call link building from the outside, or some external link building, or inbound link building. And this is an example here of a page, a community page that we built for a client in Texas. Her name is Utah, and she has a number of villages in her area, small communities, and this is one, Village of Sterling Ridge. If you took a look at the picture in there, it says Village of Sterling Ridge, and that is her keyword phrase. So the content in there is based on Sterling Ridge, and what she's done, once that content went out, not only did she link her blog to it, but she also went out to Active Rain. She has an outside blog, and she's linking to those pages in her Real Pro System site. So after going out and promoting those pages on other websites, you can see that she's been able to lift that page for Village of Sterling Ridge up to the first page of Google. I think it's a number 4 rank there. So that is such an important strategy as you're creating these websites, or you're creating these content, the content, excuse me, that you'd want to have a well-rounded strategy of not only linking from within your website, but going out and finding other places to link from. So Dennis, what are some of the areas, or what are some of the tools that an agent can use to build out these inbound links?
Well, as you just talked about, Active Rain is a great tool for building out some inbound links. And here again is Utah's example with her Sterling Ridge. Using social media like Twitter and Facebook. Now here's a Twitter feed from Sam Miller. And what he's doing is he is tweeting about different pages on his website. But if you also notice that he's not just tweeting about different pages on his website, he's also keeping it, social. He's mixing it up. It's a social faux pas, if you will, to continually market. It really, shuns users away more than anything. So mix it up. And one thing is, the search engines, both Google and Bing, have actually come out and said that they are taking social cues from like Twitter and Facebook, and they're factoring that into their algorithms. So keep that in mind. In my guess, here in the next couple of years, social media is going to become even more important in the search engine algorithms. Another example is, again, Sam Miller. This is a Facebook page, and he's got a link here, again, back to one of his pages. Some of the secondary effects of being active with social media: if a user comes to this page here and they find this post useful, they may copy and paste the link to Sam's page from their own website, which the secondary effect there is a link back to Sam. So not only is he able to drive traffic through his Facebook, but he's possibly able to pick up some other inbound links if people were to copy and paste those links.
One thing we probably should just point out is that when you're building links using social media, make sure that not every post is about the link back to your website. That's a pretty surefire way of losing your audience. But mix it up. Be social.
Exactly. So another great tool here is just getting on industry blogs. Maybe you can be a guest blogger and blog about a topic that you have a page on your site about. Well, blog about that topic over here as a guest blogger and point your link back to your page. And just as long as you're offering up quality content that people are going to want to find useful and want to read, people love to have you as guest bloggers. Maybe you're just there reading a blog post and you're going to comment on somebody else's blog, on another industry blog. Well, offer up a quality content and then a link back to your page. It's not harmful to do at all. So some other ideas: your business partners. Maybe you've got an insurance agent out there who you work closely with. Just ask them to put a link to you. Community links. Maybe it's homeowner association sites or local newspaper sites. Whatever it is, just get these quality inbound links pointing to your site.
Great point. Link trading, or what we call the reciprocal links. Good or bad?
I stay away from the reciprocal links. The problem with reciprocal links there are, if you're continually trading links with people, you don't get the link benefit that you really want from it, because every time a link is pointing to your website, the search engine counts that as a vote for your website. But if you're continually trading links back and forth, it pretty much cancels out that vote and just says, well, you're trading links. Okay, big deal.
So it's kind of a zero-sum game.
Absolutely.
So if you are going to link to someone and you want to link back from them, there is a section in the control panel of your RealPro system site for adding links. It's that whole link area, and all the links that get added into that area are no-follow links, so that you're not losing any of your momentum. You're not giving away any of your authority, and you might be providing a service to someone if you've got an agent that you wanted to refer in another state. But use that area, and for sure you'll be safe.
Definitely, definitely.
So as we've talked about external link building and internal link building and the importance of both, we really wanted to illustrate just what can happen when good linking is happening. So let's go back to the Sam Miller example here. This was the example where he had created a blog post on his bank-owned homes, bank-owned, I always have a problem saying this, the bank-owned stealth site. And then he also linked internally to his page for his bank-owned listings. Now, when you combine the fact that he's also blogging about the topic and you're doing the search, he's showing up for the top 3 spots there in Google, and we're pointing those out. These are all internal pages. But Sam is also doing the other things that we had just talked about and going outside of his website to promote this. So he went out to Facebook and he actually promoted his blog post on Facebook, and the number 4 position there is his Facebook post. So he's able then to get traction on Facebook that's even outside of his domain. But if you were to go to that blog post, there's even a link in there that goes back to Sam's website. The number 6 ranked position there is the link that actually goes to his stealth page. And the 10th one is a link that goes back to Active Rain because he posted content there with the link that talks about his bank-owned property site. So if you take a closer look at this result, he doesn't just have the top 3, he has 6 of the top 10 results, and that's just phenomenal.
That is phenomenal. That's 6 of the top 10 results that he is taking away from his competitors. So, he's just dominating for this search phrase right now.
So let's talk about the linking and take a quick look at how he's done the linking with these pages. That top page on the upper right, he's actually linked that blog post to his stealth site. He's also linking that blog post to his niche-based page. When he was writing another blog post, he created a link from that back to his niche-based page. And remember, all the pages on that website actually go back to that niche-based page because he has it in his menu. So there's real link relevance there. But then outside of his website, on that Facebook, he's driving traffic from Facebook back to his website and to his stealth site. And then on Active Rain, he's doing the same. He's posting about the information, then linking back to his stealth site and to his website. So Sam has used a very thorough link building strategy to connect all this stuff together, and the search engines took notice. So let's talk about the takeaways. What are the key points to remember with what we've just been through?
Well, the first one here, going back to our long tail slide here, is target a specific keyword phrase for unique pages. So don't think in terms of real estate, but think in terms of Highland Park, California real estate, or even Highland Park, California homes for sale. Do a little bit of keyword research and just make it hyper-local and real estate related. Use your keyword phrase throughout your page, header tags, throughout the content of your page. Make sure that you think in terms of synonyms, plural and singular, mixing the words. For example, Portland, Oregon real estate. That's your target search phrase. But don't be afraid to talk about real estate in Portland, Oregon. So you can see how the words there were mixed around. It's the same results. Write for your audience. You have to keep in mind that your audience doesn't speak in terms of agent lingo. So you want to make sure that you're writing for your audience, because they're the ones that are going to the search engines and typing in different phrases. And that's going to produce you much better results. Include calls to action on your pages. It's really, really great that we can achieve some top results, but once the user gets to your page, what do you want them to do? Do you want them to download a relocation guide? If so, include a link there that goes straight to your relocation guide. Tell them what you want them to do. Another example of a call to action are the pre-formatted search links that we talked about earlier. Tell them what you want them to do, and give them some options. Just a way for you to capture their information. Build links, internal links and inbound links. Go out there and get links pointing to your website. And be consistent. It's not about just putting out a few pages and expecting to have this great success. You have to be consistent. Set it on your calendar once a week, twice a week, whatever it is you're comfortable with doing. But be consistent, because the search engines, as I mentioned earlier, love to see fresh content, and they want to see your website grow. They want to know that your website is not stale, that it's actually active. And you know what? Your users want to see that as well. And it's going to keep your users coming back, making your website more popular. And I guarantee you that the search engines realize who's visiting, how many people are visiting, and so on. They have that data, and I guarantee you they're incorporating that data into their algorithms.
So those are some great points. Now let's just talk about a game plan. And this is a game plan that's tried and true. It works. There's not magic behind search engines as much as there is just real effort and dedication. If you want to get seen, you're going to have to put some effort into it, or partner with a resource that will help facilitate this for you or with you. And so the game plan, create your community pages about your area. I mean, this is fundamental. This is really a foundational first step, isn't it, Dennis, to getting SEO going?
Yeah, definitely. That's what your users are there to research about, homes in specific areas. So give them information about the areas.
And, just a quick note, the more that you can share about your community and show off your knowledge there, you become the expert and you become the go-to resource. So when you're creating information about your community, don't just spit out a bunch of links, but share some of the insights that you've got. When we create community pages for our clients, we interview them and we say, well, tell us a little bit about the community, and then we go out and we do the research, and so we write it out so that it's very SEO friendly and consistent. But whatever your strategy is, when you create your community pages, make sure that that you're representing the information that you know and that you love about your area, and that will show through. Create niche pages, or using the tag-based listings to create these specialty pages. These are really important. They're relatively simple to do, and we all have our specialties. We all have these areas that we know a little bit more about than the next person. So whether your area is foreclosures or bank-owned homes, or if it was properties with acreage and the things that go along with that, build out your site with some of that knowledge, and also reference your own area. Updating your blog, very important, right, Dennis?
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, updating your blog, the engines recognize there's a blog there and they expect it to be updated, and it keeps them coming back quicker and more. So update that blog and get those pages indexed.
Create links for your content from the pages within your site, from those niche pages, linking to your blog and from your blog. And also from outside your site, like the examples that we were showing with Active Rain and the social media and other blogs and other websites. There's a lot of opportunity there. You just have to dig and find those places to link back to your website. And then you do all that stuff, you'll climb the search engines. And then once you start getting that experience and those results, repeat, and you will get more and more of those pages showing up. Sooner or later, you start showing up for real significant search terms, and it's just this virtuous cycle that you're going to start. But the key is to get started. And I think that a lot of the agents, when you think about, well, okay, that sounds great, but when you add it all together, it can be a little daunting, can't it?
Yeah, it certainly seems a little daunting. But, the old saying is, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So the key, like Joe said, is just get out there and start and be consistent. Make it a monthly process and make it a part of your marketing budget. It will pay off, and this is long term. So if you're in the game for a long time, definitely put SEO into your game plan.
Now, we realize that here on the call today that we run the gamut of different agents with their areas of specialty, maybe with the time that's available. If you are a do-it-yourselfer and you know that you've got the time to do this, We just gave you a really great roadmap, and it's one that's working, so stick to it. If you want a little bit of help though, our team is available to help you in whatever capacity that you need. So maybe you just need someone to help you come up with some community pages, or you want us to create a Google map. Our technical services team, we're ready to help agents, and we do that all the time for folks that they want a little bit of boost and they want that extra content, and then from there they're going to take it themselves. So if that is of interest to you, let us know and we'll talk about it. Our service is reasonable. We can create an entire community page section with multiple communities, and that service starts at $3.99. We can also create Google Maps and do some of the interactive things that Dennis had pointed out, if that's of interest to you. If you are looking, though, to partner with a full-service SEO program like the one that Dennis runs, Dennis runs a program that starts at $9.95 and it includes the community pages and that community section and the Google Maps, and as well as the following items. The keyword research and the competitive analysis. He actually goes in, takes a look at what's happening in your particular market. There's some collaboration that goes on about the long tail search phrases that we want to target. He provides the ongoing copywriting services, and as well as going back and checking to see how things are going, the progress reports, and then there's ongoing strategic consultations that happen. So these services, again, these start at $9.95, or if you were looking for something that a little bit smaller, the community pages, that starts at $3.99. We're not trying to create dependency. We actually are just trying to help you succeed, which is why we've created the roadmap. You can do all of this, but what we're providing is Dennis's 13 years of experience and a fast, efficient, and what we find a very cost-effective way for you to get this done. And if you are curious about learning more about the SEO services, we just put the number on the screen and an email address so you can reach out to us with whatever your needs are there, and we'd love to help you. Dennis, we do have some time here at the end for some Q&A. Do you mind if we go to our Q&A bank, and let's take a look and see what kind of questions were submitted.
Yeah, not at all.
Building links. Can I get extra credit if I copy my blog content to another site as long as I provide attribution?
Well, the key there is providing attribution. So what you want to do is only one website is going to get full credit for content, and if you're just going off to another blog and posting content there, you're not going to get the full full credit for that. But provide attribution to the original source, and that helps the search engines realize that, okay, you've got some useful content, but you're not the original source. Funny thing is, they're actually talking about creating these specific tags for original content versus content that's being repeated, so that the engines will figure out a little more easily who the original source is.
Okay. Another question, Dennis, is how long do pages need to be, and how long should my blog posts be?
Well, typically when you're creating a community page, as a rule of thumb, I like to keep it 400 or 500 words minimum. If you have the gumption out there and you want to write 600-700 words, go for it. But 400 to 500 words minimum, that offers enough content for the engine to really be able to form their opinion about what the page is about. For blog posts, you can keep it a little shorter because that's what blogs were really meant to be. So I like to keep it about 250 word minimum for a blog post.
So yeah, and one other factor to consider is just your readers. Do you have enough information that's going to make that destination page worth landing on? So consider your reader, and you probably don't want to overwhelm them because they're probably not looking to spend the next half an hour on a particular page. Just the nature of search.
That's right, absolutely.
Another question: how do you pick your keywords?
Well, again, you want your keywords to be real estate related and make them community specific, hyper local. So don't think in terms of head keywords like real estate. Think more specific. And what you really want to do is just start throwing around ideas. What are the communities you serve? Is it Coburg, Oregon, Eugene, Oregon, Springfield, Oregon? Okay, those are good starts. But now what is it about those areas? Well, homes for sale, real estate, property for sale. There's all kinds of keywords. So some great keywords there might be Eugene, Oregon, homes for sale, Springfield, Oregon, acreage, Coburg, Oregon farms for sale, just all kinds of keywords. And those are considered long tail search phrases right there.
So when you're writing about Coburg, Oregon homes for sale, you're not really worrying about the neighboring community. It's all about that one keyword, and you're trying to achieve rank on that page for that one keyword.
Yes, ideally you want to create one page per target search phrase out there. Now, we understand you're not going to go out there and create 500 pages for 500 search phrases, but create a great set of keywords and a page for each individual.
Now, of course, if you had the inkling to do that and the time, or you had someone that was willing to partner with you that way,
yeah, then you could certainly create 500 pages.
Right. How many pages do I need to create? That's the question.
Well, there's no real hard and fast rule. Just keep in mind that the more pages you create, the more chances they'll be indexed in the engine, the more chances somebody's going to click on those. And again, the search engines love to see that fresh content, and they love to see these websites grow. So don't stop creating pages. Create as many as you can.
Okay. Last question. This is a great question, and we'll try to get to other questions after the webinar in your emails. But how long does it take to get search pages, or how long does it take to get the pages seen on the search engines?
Well, there's really so many varying factors there. How old is your domain? How often do you update your website? All of these things go into how often is that search engine going to come and visit your site and index the pages. Sometimes it may take a month or 2 months for your pages to get indexed. Some sites we see get indexed within just a day or two. So there's so many factors that go into it, and there's no rule. The engine doesn't say every 5 days I go out and visit a site. It's just the more active you are, the more they're going to visit your page, and the quicker it's going to be indexed, the quicker it can start rising up in the search engine rankings.
Yeah, it's definitely a marathon. It's not a sprint. So.
Yeah, absolutely. We were talking the other day, and Joe said something that just really stood out to me. If you want to be a hunter, then pay-per-click is the way to go. But if you want to be a farmer and you want to grow these crops for years and years to go, then SEO is really the way to go, and it's long-term, and that's the key.
Yeah, think of a balanced strategy like we had talked about. You're going to continue to do your temporal marketing. You're going to be doing your print marketing and bringing traffic back by putting those domains in your flyers, and that's good strategy. You're going to get traffic that way. You're also going to get traffic coming back to your stealth sites, perhaps, if you're using any kind of pay-per-click strategy. But SEO, there's just so much leverage there, and when you figure that 85% of that traffic is actually looking at the optimized results, that's where you want to be. And if you get up there on the first page for some of those search terms, and there's a lot of search terms out there that are being used, you're driving traffic back to your site without spending the per visit amount for every time someone clicks on that. So these are all great strategies, and I hope that you're going to take a lot of things out of this program and implement them for your own business. Again, if you want more information on our own services and how we might be able to fit with your strategy, we're here to help. Let us know how we might be able to do that. Give us a call, 541-743-8510. And if nothing else, go out there and get started. The sooner that you're going to get started, the sooner that you're going to get results. And remember, your competition is out there doing it right now too. So give it your all, and you will see success. So Dennis, thank you very much for joining us.
Absolutely.
And everyone who joined us on the call today, thank you for your time. And we hope that you'll join us for another one of our webinars down the road. Bye-bye.
That went a lot better, huh?
Yeah, it did. Thank you.
So too.
You were